all okay. Yeah, brilliant. Love to see everyone on here to another HubSpot masterclass. Today, we're going to be talking about how to improve customer experience, delving into the Service Hub side of HubSpot. I know this is a place close to your heart, Emma.
It is indeed. It's one of my personal favorite hubs on HubSpot, and I think it's criminally underused. So, going to talk a little bit about that today and why you should absolutely be using it and how it can really transform things for you.
Absolutely. I think most businesses will use HubSpot primarily for sales and marketing
I'd
and
agree.
those
Yeah.
hubs. But Service Hub is a very exciting tool.
Mm.
Okay, criminally underused, as you quite rightly pointed out. And the plan for today really is we're going to be talking about the benefits of the customer experience side, but this can be great for you if you're using the tool already. Okay,
Mm.
but also if you're not using it and are just keen to understand maybe the benefits about it, what impact it can have on your business, okay, then this session is going to be perfect for you. Okay, so as always, start off a little bit of housekeeping to begin with. Time's 10:30 now. We aim to finish at 11 o'clock. Okay. Please feel free to ask questions as we go, and we will try and answer live in real time when those questions come in. We are going to stick around afterwards, like we always do, and cover any questions that we don't get around to. And if you want to ask more specific questions at the end and wait to the end, that's fine as well. Okay. So the first thing I think we do is we want to check that the chat is live. So what I want to do is just get a kind of, I suppose, show of hands really in the chat of who is actually using the Service Hub at the moment. I think that's probably a good way to start,
Mm.
just so we've got a bit of a consensus on the group that we've got this morning. So if you want to put in using, not using, that's probably the simplest way to do it.
Mm.
Or show of hands, there we go.
A
Okay.
couple of people not using it. In fact, a lot of people not using it.
Yeah,
Amy G is using it, as is Vicky.
Sky is.
Lots of people are saying not using or that they've just started using HubSpot.
Okay,
So this definitely a good place to start with why the Service
absolutely.
Hub is going to be a potentially something to add into your repertoire there, really.
Brilliant. It's probably about 3/4 not, isn't it? I
I
think by
reckon
the
so,
looks of it.
yeah.
This is going to be a good session then. Brilliant. Okay. Just to give a bit of a background on JDR as well, while we start, the because you may have come to our webinars before and you might already know who we are and you might be working with us, but you might be new to us. So JDR are an inbound marketing agency. First and foremost, that's what we do. Been established 20 years now. Started originally in business coaching, where we work with small to medium-sized businesses, helping them with their sales and marketing. Okay, we started using HubSpot 12 years ago now. That was I've been using it every day for the last 12 years, and we've been partners with HubSpot for 10.
Mm.
And I think it's just over a year now we've been elite partners for,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So lots and lots of experience. There's three primary ways in which JDR help clients when it comes to HubSpot. If you've purchased HubSpot, which I'm guessing the majority of people have, okay, that are on this webinar today, you would have received some form of onboarding, whether that's through HubSpot directly, whether it's through JDR, or whether it's through another partner. It's something that we specialize in and work with businesses to help them set up HubSpot. Okay, and we also help businesses who maybe already have it and maybe want some training on it. New team members come in, and also some consultancy work. I'll conduct lots and lots of portal reviews. I've already done a handful this week for clients and businesses who want me to look at their HubSpot account because they're not feeling that they're getting the most out of it. And we also use HubSpot to underpin our inbound marketing agency services. Okay, so as explained at the beginning, we're a full service inbound team helping not only with your strategy, but we're also helping businesses execute those strategies, whether it's writing your content, whether it's helping you with your SEO or Google marketing, your social media, even building a website is something that we can help with. If you'd like to actually talk about one of those three things, whether you want me to do a portal review for you or you want to talk about your inbound marketing activities and how JDR can potentially help, I'm going to put a link to my diary in the chat. I'm going to do that now, and feel free to organize a call. As you can see from here, school holidays are coming. It's very busy in July and August, okay, but there's plenty of availability, okay. So we've got a lot to go through today. I know Emma's itching to get started, so I'm going to stop my share, okay.
Thanks,
I'm
Andy.
going to hand over the reins to Emma. She's got a lot to go through with you.
Fantastic. All right, so as Andy has kind of already touched on, really using HubSpot for customer experience, monitoring and improving your customer experience is part of the Service Hub side of HubSpot. So it's a whole separate hub with tons and tons of tools unique to that hub that are going to really help you to elevate what you're doing with your customer experience. Now, first of all, we want to understand why this is actually important. Why should we be measuring customer satisfaction? Why does this matter? First of all, if you know which customers are unhappy with how things are with you, it allows you to proactively reach out to them before anything gets any worse. People are much more honest on a survey or something like that than they are to your face. And if you know in advance that somebody is unhappy, you can fix that problem before it's going to become a major issue and potentially lose you a customer or get you a bad review or something like that. On the flip side, you also want to know which are your happiest customers. You can then be reaching out for those people, targeting them for upsells and cross sells if you sell different services, but also to leave you reviews and work with you on things like that, perhaps speak to customers for you, give you testimonials, all that kind of thing. So knowing your happiest and your unhappiest customers really allows you to use that customer base effectively to progress what you are doing. It also allows you to actually improve your customer satisfaction. If you're measuring customer satisfaction in some way, you're going to start to understand and start to see trends in how certain things will affect your customer satisfaction levels, and then you can actually put actions in place to improve that and actually have a better customer experience for people. The other thing that I know is relevant to a lot of our clients is that certain ISO standards, I think ISO 9001 specifically, requires you to be monitoring customer satisfaction in one way or another. So if you are a firm trying to get ISO certifications and that kind of thing, this is a really, really key part of that. And it's somewhere that I think a lot of small businesses struggle to meet that specific criteria, or they kind of do a bit of a hacked around solution. Measuring customer satisfaction through HubSpot is a great way of meeting that standard over and above even what it needs you to do. So that's definitely worth bearing in mind as well there. So I would say the first place to start when we're looking at using HubSpot to improve the customer experience is with surveys and with measuring the customer satisfaction. Once what you measure, you know, right? And what you measure, you can improve. If you don't know where your start point is, you can't be looking to improve it. And HubSpot has different ways that you can do surveys within it. So there's three main types of survey that you can set up within HubSpot, and these are all kind of industry standards. So your first one is your CES, or customer effort score, and this is used when you want to see how easy it was for your customers to find help. So this is going to be used if you have people coming to you with queries or with technical issues with your products or anything like that. That's where you're going to want to use a CES survey, and it's just a rating of 1 to 7. Did they make it easy to handle my issue? The next type is a customer satisfaction survey. I'd say this is the most common one because you can really use this to take a bit of a pulse check on any part of the customer experience. It's super easy for people to do. You'll have seen these in the shops. I even get these on the checkouts at the supermarket sometimes, little smiley face rating. So this is really, really industry standard for this. And it's a great way of very quickly getting that pulse check from people.
It generates the highest response rates as well of
Yeah.
all the three types of surveys is that
The
customer
happy medium
satisfaction.
sad face, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
um,
the easiest for people to relate to, isn't it, I think?
exactly right. And it's also good, I think, as well, because like with customer effort scores, they're mainly used like after an event or after an
Mm,
interaction. So how well did we do
yeah.
effectively? With customer satisfaction, they can also be used beforehand to
Mm,
gauge. So it's really good. Like if you're a business who maybe does like contract, who's on like a managed service or
yeah,
they work in contract. So like 6 months before renewal date, this is a good inclination of is this person going to
definitely.
re-sign with us, and it, but also afterwards at the same time. So it works really well on
Definitely.
both sides.
Yeah, and you can use it throughout the customer journey. I've even had people use this in the middle of their sales process,
Okay,
if it's a
yeah.
long sales
Mm.
process, to kind of see how that experience is for them and weed things out there as well. And then the final one is your net promoter score. So this, again, very industry standard. How likely are your customers to recommend you to others on a scale of 1 to 10? So this is great if you are a kind of business that is looking for referral kind of business. If you're needing that NPS score, I've had some clients actually put that in their emails and speak about how high their NPS score is as a real sign of the fact that they're doing a great job there. So these are the three main types of survey within HubSpot. So what I'm going to do is very quickly jump into my demo portal and show you how to actually create one of these. So surveys now sit under the automations tab here. So we'll go in and create a survey. And I'm going to just hit create survey up here. I'm going to use the customer satisfaction one. Like Andy says, that's probably the most common one that we would set up for people. First of all, you're going to choose how you're going to deliver this. Is this an email survey? Is this going to sit on a web page? Is it going to be a live chat at the end of that maybe? Go with email for now. And then you can start to personalize this. So you can change your name, you can change which email address it's coming from, your subject line, you can change how it's worded in the email, can change the survey question, anything that you would want to kind of customize there, you can. You can, of course, also set your own images and your branding and stuff. This isn't a full drag and drop editor, but it needs to be super simple, this email, for this to work. So it's set up in a way that you can edit the super simple bits that you would need to. The other really nice thing about this that I think a lot of people really like about the HubSpot surveys is it will automatically set feedback questions based on their response. So you can ask a different question if someone is unhappy compared to if they are happy or if they're neutral, to actually gather that additional feedback. People don't have to fill this box in. They can just give you the smiley face rating. Most people will just give you that and not leave a comment, but the few comments that you do get through on this can be really, really useful to give you that more in-depth feedback on the experience. Similarly, with your thank you, you can show a different thank you message dependent on what they've said. Obviously, you don't want to be saying thank you too much if they have not been happy. You want to be saying that we'll be in touch to make it right, that sort of thing. So again, all of this is customizable. So if you wanted to change what this said, you wanted to change these images, you can absolutely do all of that and just make it a little bit more on brand for how you'd like it to look. The next thing that is really powerful in here is you can set up your recipients. So you can set this to be automated. So for instance, you could set that this will go out anytime a deal is won in your system, anytime a ticket is closed, anytime a new contact meets a certain threshold, anything like that that you're tracking in HubSpot, you can really use to trigger these surveys. You can even do it right away, or you can wait a little bit after they meet it. Some of the surveys you can set on a repeat basis as well. So it's continually asking people that question. That's really good with the Net Promoter Score one. So there's tons and tons of stuff that you can do there to automate who this survey is going out to. And set it live and keep it live so that whenever someone new meets that criteria, they'll then get this survey. Final thing you can do is automate any follow-up actions. So you can do this based on if they are unhappy, neutral, or happy. So for instance, asking people to leave you a review if they're happy. You can also choose people to be notified accordingly and all that kind of thing as well. So they'll get email notifications, that sort of thing. So that's kind of a basic run through of how this survey tool works. There's tons and tons of flexibility within this to make it your own, but also to keep it as simple as possible. I would always recommend that we keep it super simple, because that's what's going to get you the best possible response rate. So one of the main powers in HubSpot is the automation after a survey. So some ideas of what you can really automate after the survey to, like I say, really drive that good customer experience is you can set it up so that any negative responses will notify management, then notify your head of customer service or whoever needs to know about that. Positive responses to trigger an email asking for a review. We do this with our own surveys, and this works so well. If any of you look us up on Google, you'll see tons and tons and tons of good reviews there, and it's because first of all, because we do a good job for people, but also because we have automation in place to ask people for a review when we know they're happy. You don't really want to be asking people for a review unless you know that it's going to be a positive review, right? So this is a great way of automating that a little bit and building a real strategy for getting online reviews. You can also let the owner of the contact know that someone has responded to the survey, or even send them follow-on emails asking for more details, asking further follow-up questions, that kind of thing, or even follow-up emails including upsells and cross-sells if they're really happy with something. You can then automate them to get some more information from you there. So loads and loads that you can do in terms of automation after a survey. That is going to just give you so much power in using this data to really improve what you're doing.
Also gives, I suppose, more senior people a real overview of what's
Yeah,
actually happening in their business.
absolutely.
I do speak to a lot of business owners, directors who rely on their team to feed back to them how
Yeah,
happy are our customers. Everything's fine, don't worry about it.
yeah,
Okay. This getting the notification, the triggers, having them realize actually we may have some challenges here, or
yeah,
we may be delivering really well as
yeah,
well, is incredibly powerful at the same time.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it gives you a number, right? And once you've got a number for it, you can work on improving that number. If you're getting 70% happy people, great, let's get it to 80. If you're already getting 100%, great, let's keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It gives you those targets to set and something to measure yourself against. Now, one question I always get asked whenever I'm setting up surveys for people is, can I use, I've put custom reports, I mean custom surveys. So technically in HubSpot, yes, you can create a custom survey with your own questions, your own scoring matrix, that kind of thing. However, in most cases, I would not recommend using these. There's a few main reasons for that. The first one is that they're much harder to automate off the back of. It's much harder to get an overall positive or negative sentiment as opposed to if you're just asking a single industry standard question. So that's the first thing that is a little bit trickier to do any of these great automations if you are using a custom survey. The other thing that I see a lot with companies that start doing surveys is they get a little bit overexcited, I'm going to say, and want to ask tons and tons of questions to understand every possible different angle that someone would be coming at. In our experience, surveys work best if you're asking a single question and then a follow-on question, rather than asking about lots of different things all in one big survey. There is a time and a place for that, but I would not recommend starting by asking your customers 3, 4, 5 questions in a survey, which custom surveys do allow you to do, but you end up not getting such a good kind of feedback rate on those. The other thing is that they aren't kind of industry standard and set in that way. So they don't have that kind of backing of this is our net promoter score, this is our customer effort score. So it's a little bit harder to kind of benchmark yourself there as well. So the other big thing with the custom reports is that the custom surveys is that you can't actually click them within the email itself. They have to go through to another web page, which again just really hurts with that rate of people coming back to you. So there is use cases for them. You can use them. I wouldn't start there. I would start with one of the industry standard out of the box ones, see what your responses are like on that, and then move it forward from there.
Potential to be used in after the original ones, isn't it? So you have the
As
simple
a kind
one,
of follow-up survey,
and
exactly.
the follow-up survey. If say someone it does come back as with a negative score if it's below 60%, 50%, whatever it might be. That's the
Right.
time where something like this might be useful,
Exactly.
where you can customize. Whereas, is this person going to tell me the reason why they're not happy, so to speak? So there is, I suppose, a use case in that sense. But you're absolutely right. You just send people an email and ask them to fill in all these details. Even the best will in the world, most people are going to
Yeah.
just ignore it
Just ignore
effectively.
it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case. Okay. So once you are measuring your customer experience, there are then going to be things that come out that you want to improve in one way or another. And I would say there's three main areas where you can really work on improving that customer experience. And that would be automating onboarding, tracking the performance of your team and the individuals, and wherever possible, make handling queries hands off. So I'm going to quickly run through how you can do each of these three main elements that are going to really start to kickstart how you are working with your customers and improving that customer experience. So when it comes to new customer onboarding, one of the things I recommend every single business that has an onboarding process to do is to create a ticket for onboarding when a deal is won. So there's a little example of a workflow here that will do that. If your deal is won, create a ticket and assign it to whoever it needs to be assigned to. What you can then do in HubSpot is you can set up a pipeline for what that onboarding process looks like. So you can see here, you've got various different stages in this pipeline. You want to consider what the steps of your process should be. So maybe it's send a welcome pack, book a call, book a follow-up call, etc. Make those the stages of that pipeline, and then think about what tasks and who needs to be involved at each stage and automate those tasks to go into those people's diaries. As soon as the ticket moves into waiting on us, I know that I need 3 people to do 3 different things internally. Great. Let's set up an automation to do all of that. This is going to mean that balls don't get dropped with onboarding. It's going to mean that people flow through this process and everything has kind of an assigned owner and assigned place to sit, and you can get that overview at any time of where people are. We have done another whole webinar, which we can share links for as well, and they are all on our website around tickets and how to really use this ticketing system for exactly this sort of thing. So if this is something that you want to be working on a little bit more in your business, I definitely recommend checking out that ticket webinar as well. The other thing that I would highly recommend every business to do here is to really track your service team's performance. So there's a couple of examples here of the sort of reporting that you can get within HubSpot. So you can see how long is it taking people to get back to your customers? How long is it taking tickets to close? If you break that down by person, which is what this report is, I've just kind of anonymized it here, it allows you to see, okay, who's responding quickest to people and what impact is that having? So you can correlate this then to your survey responses. And if you know that, this person is getting more negative survey responses because they're taking longer to close the tickets, you can then see what you're doing with that individual to improve your performance in that area. So small adjustments there are going to make a big difference to your overall levels of customer satisfaction. And that is going to be what helps you to retain your clients, which is so important in the environment and the economy that we're in at the moment. Retention is such an important factor in any business. So any
Absolutely.
small changes you can make to really improve that retention are going to make a big difference to your bottom line, really.
Can be just as important getting a client to stay with you
Yeah,
rather than because it's a lot harder trying to replace them
yeah,
consistently. If you're constantly having clients leave, it, you, it puts pressure on sales, it puts pressure on marketing because you've got to consistently replace them all the time. If you've got a good customer service solution, you're going to be keeping your customers more. They're also going to be recommending you further
mm,
as well, which a lot of our clients as well, they rely, particularly in sort of B2B space, they're
yeah,
heavily relationship-led industries. It's built on trust. It's a lot of word of mouth, referrals, recommendation, people moving from company to company, that kind of thing. So you can really hone in on this
mm.
kind of thing and ultimately maximize revenue for a business as well.
Exactly. Exactly. The other thing that I think is really important is from a resourcing perspective. I have definitely worked with a lot of businesses where they have implemented this system, found that they are getting a lot more queries coming through than they thought they were, and therefore realize that they are drastically under-resourced in that team. So it can go the other way as well. Maybe you realize through doing this that actually your reps are only getting one ticket a day each, so you need to look at kind of reallocating that resource accordingly. But knowing what you get through, how long it takes your people to work on it, how much back and forth there is, all that kind of thing is going to allow you to make smarter business decisions around how you're resourcing that customer service and delivery team. So I think that is a really important element of the reporting
Absolutely.
side of this as well.
Goes the other way as well. So if you're a time stretched customer service employee that needs extra resource, you've now got evidence to justify it as well.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, there's so much that you can do in the reporting once you're kind of using this ticketing system within HubSpot. So it's something that I definitely recommend that you start by having a look at. The other thing that you really want to be trying to do where you can is make as much as possible of your customer service hands off from your team and make it as effective as possible. One of the best tools for doing this is having a knowledge base set up within HubSpot. So this is an example of our knowledge base here. And you can set this up under, gosh, I don't even know where it is anymore in the new navigation. I believe it'll be in here, yeah, in content. You can have your knowledge base here. They move everything around. And you can create articles around basically everything that your customer would need help with. You can even link up your chatbots to this as well, so they can actually access and search within this knowledge base directly from an interactive chat. The more that you can make your customer experience hands-off, but still give them the option to speak to a human if they want to, it's going to make that whole process more efficient and more effective. The world that we're in now, clients generally and customers generally prefer to help themselves to solve their own issues as opposed to having to wait for a response from someone. The more you can allow them to do that and the more resources you can give them to help themselves in that way, the better your customer experience will be. HubSpot are the absolute masters of this. They have one of the best knowledge bases out there. Whenever you do a search for anything related to HubSpot, pretty much always there is a knowledge base article that comes up for it. And that is such a good experience for a customer to have. And I think this is definitely something that businesses should be looking to implement to allow people to self-serve the most commonly asked questions wherever possible. So I'd really recommend considering how you could use this in your business to help your customers. So I've touched on the fact that we have got some other webinars that are really related to this topic that I would definitely recommend checking out. So I'll pop these links quickly in the chat for you all. Let me just grab those and pop them in because I think just having a look at how you can use live chat and how you can use tickets will really go a little bit more in depth in those specific tools that we've spoken about today. Service Hub is such a big hub on HubSpot. As I said at the beginning, it's my personal favorite hub to implement with clients. I just think there's so much good stuff in there, Andy, that just really does make such a difference. So
absolutely,
could talk about it all day, and these webinars do go a little bit more in depth on some specific features there. Okay. So if there are any questions, please do pop them in the chat, and we will go through them. I know we've not had anybody piping up.
We've just done a great job.
Clearly, we've answered everything as we go. But if there are any questions, we will obviously be sticking around a little bit to answer them. Otherwise, I want to share with you all next month's webinar. So I'm actually off on honeymoon next month. So I'm going to be passing over to our social media manager, Kerry, who's going to be running a masterclass on using HubSpot for social media. I think this is going to be a really good session. It's such a good topic. Such a good area within HubSpot, the social media manager, and Kerry is the absolute pro at this. So I'm looking forward to watching that one when I get back. back
You're not going to
from
watch it
my
live?
holidays. I don't think so, Andy, this time from the beach in Jamaica.
Well, I don't blame you. So yeah, I'll still be here though. So and
Emily FA.
like Emma said, Kerry's the absolute master when it comes to social media. So look forward to seeing you all next month.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
I think that's everyone. Yeah, I'll
I-
stay. I'll leave it for 30 seconds, see if anyone has any questions. But then I think we're all good. You've done
Yeah,
a
I'm
great
not seeing
job.
any
No,
questions. Just
no
getting
ambiguity at all in any of
some
your
thank
points
yous from
today.
people, which is
Yeah,
lovely. Thanks, guys.
yeah. Right.
Fantastic.
We'll wrap it up there then. Thanks very much, guys. If you do have
See
any
you.
questions, then feel free to email us, either of us afterwards. If
Definitely.
anything comes off afterwards or whatever, I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. As I say, book a call in my diary as well. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.